When I tell you I am a lover girl, believe me, I am a lover girl. So, welcome to episode 2 of my journey from being a single graduate woman from northern Nigeria to transitioning into marriage and whatnot. And I'm here, as I said, to encourage my girls in their mid 20s, in their late 20s. So, let me take you to 2019. So, in 2019, I started blogging, and I'm sure a lot of people wonder, how did you even start blogging? What made you start blogging? And as I keep telling people, I am a sucker for love. I love love. Love is the essence of my being, because I grew up seeing my family, seeing my parents so much in love that I envied what they had. I grew up in Lagos, so it was a nice thing, seeing my parents take evening strolls. It's not something we do here in Arewa, but it was a nice thing seeing my parents take evening strolls. It was a nice thing seeing my parents. My mom would go to work before my dad. My mom usually went to work around 7:40. My dad would go to work around 9, 10. He was an oga, so it was easier for him to actually leave home when he wanted to leave home. My mom went to work earlier, but they always came back together. She closed from work around 5, but she wouldn't come back home. It's a trekking distance. She wouldn't come back home. She would go to my dad's office and they would come back home together and they would eat together. And then around 5:36, they would go to the market together. I have never seen a man who goes to the market the way my dad went to the market with my mom. Sometimes when they go to the market, they will share the grocery list. You get this, I'll go get that, and then they'll come back home together around 7, 7:30. So I grew up seeing what they had. I envied what they had, and I wanted what they had. So I knew this is what I want for my life, and I knew there was only one person who could give me that. As I said in previous episodes, he got a job, and then we started talking marriage, and then we broke up. I don't know what happened, but somehow we broke up. I don't know, it was something probably silly, and we broke up, but I still believed in love and I still thought about him every day. And sometimes I would get calls from unknown number and I knew it was him, but I think pride and ego wouldn't let us communicate and get back together, but I still wanted him, and our parents didn't even know we're broken up. So in 2019, December, one of the couples that I was rooting for, one of the couples that I was really looking forward to see their union, Jidda and Diesel, got married. And I was over the moon. And I was just seated in my room by the socket, and there were a lot of messages on hate blogs. Blogs posted their pictures and there was no comment control on the comment section. It was really a sweet, memorable thing for the couple and for people who liked them genuinely. But then the comments were so bitter. And I said, why don't I start a blog where I tell stories of couples from northern Nigeria? There were couples that had gotten married already and probably didn't have an avenue to share their stories. So why don't I start that? So on that day, December 29th, 2019, I decided to start blogging. And then somehow, one day, few days after that, my boyfriend called me that his parents asked him about us and he said we're broken up. And I said, okay. So, okay, I don't want to go into details, but long story short, we got back together and I didn't know how to tell him I was already blogging. And I promised myself I wasn't going to tell him until I got to 10,000 followers. I worked really hard on my blog. I mean, I was doing my master's, I was working, there was a lot of pressure, there was a lot of, I was busy all the time, but I was determined that I was going to make my blog grow. So I sourced for content. I was posting every day, sometimes 10 times in a day. And by the fifth month of my blogging, I got to 10,000 followers and I decided to tell him. I was afraid he wasn't going to support me because, I mean, typical northern Nigerian men, they might not support that kind of dream, but I was determined. I wanted to do it. And I felt if there was anybody that was going to support me in this dream, it was going to be him. So I told him, and he was like, "That's a beautiful thing. You have created such a beautiful thing." Because he would come and she would king up in another marriage, stay posted, and I'll be like, hmm? And in my mind, I was like, okay, it's me. But then I never really told him it was me. So when I told him it was me, the way he showed his support, the way he encouraged me, it made me believe truly this person is the one. And I knew then in my gut, okay, this is why I waited for this person, because I knew I would need this kind of support for the things that I had planned for my life. I have a lot of things planned for my life, and trust me, I wasn't going to let one single guy change the whole plans I had for my life in the name of marriage. No. So being a blogger made me understand why rushing into marriage was actually not a good idea, because I started this series where people share their story of how they met, how it's going, and versus how they expected it to go. So I have heard a lot of stories from a lot of women where they have their life all planned out, career wise and everything, and then they marry a guy simply because of societal or family pressure, and then their life is kept on hold, and then the only options are to either give up on your dreams by staying in that marriage, or to leave that marriage and then face the consequences of being a divorcee in our society. See, let me tell you something. There is no woman that goes into marriage thinking, okay, I want to come out. Duk macen da kika ga ta yi zawarci, wallahi is not what she wanted for her life. And the way our society scrutinizes Zaurawa, the way our society judges Zaurawa, the way our society just looks at Zaurawa and assume ke ce kika ki zaman aure. Babu macen da za ta shiga gidan miji ta ce miki ba ni wata biyu zan shiga in fito, kawai ni shiga zan yi in fito. I have no intention of staying. Mata Allah ya yi mu da haƙuri for a woman to actually quit her marriage, for a woman to end her marriage and come out and face the societal scrutiny and societal judgment of being called a bazawara. Ba ƙaramin abu aka yi mata in that marriage a kai ta bango ba. There are a lot of women that leave that marriage not because they want to, not because it's what they foresaw for their life, but it's because it's necessary. They are living in hell, they are living in bondage. And that is one thing I kept telling myself, that even if it will take this guy 10 years to get ready, I am going to wait. Even if it will take him 10 years to get ready, to get settled, to come and marry me, I am willing to wait, because nobody had shown me the kind of love that he had shown me. There were instances where aunties, older cousins would tell you, see, duk wannan soyayyen da yake nuna miki don kuna waje ne, bari ku shiga ciki. There are men that a waje ba za su nuna miki soyayya ba, in kun shiga ciki za ki ga an nuna miki soyayya more than you expect. So all the soyayya da yake nuna miki a waje ba soyayya ba ne, real soyayya na gidan aure. They told me that. But in my heart, I knew, in dai za ka iya nuna min irin wannan soyayyan a waje, you and I understand each other. You and I have promised that we want to live the rest of our lives with each other. Then there is no reason for me to doubt you and take the advice of somebody that is probably not even happy. As I keep saying, it's not every auntie that would advise brides on marriage. Some of them are not happy. Some of them just project their unhappiness onto you by telling you, see, when a woman is happy in her home, you can sit down and have a 10-minute conversation with a woman, and you would be able to tell if she's happy in her marriage or she's not happy in her marriage. Duk macen da za ta ce miki, ai duk maza haka suke, all men are the same, all men are this, all men are that, maza yan iska ne, a man will leave you, a man with this, a man with this. Ai kawai aure ana yi ne, amma babu macen da take jin daɗi a gidan aurenta, duk haƙuri miki. Just know that she's not happy in her marriage. So it's not every advice that you actually take from some of these married aunties, because some of them are not married. So one thing I want to tell you is, do not let society pressure you into thinking you can never be happy, or pressure you into thinking whoever you marry, the outcome is going to be the same. See, love is not enough in a marriage, but there are a lot of things that you will go through as a couple that is only love that can sustain it. There are a lot of times that a man will annoy you, push you to the wall so hard that you feel like strangling him, but then you look at him and you remember, I love this person. And that is the only thing that will keep you going. There are a lot of things that keep a marriage going. There are a lot of things that keep a marriage alive. There are a lot of things that you need to have or you need to practice before you can have a successful marriage. But love is very, very important in a marriage. And I keep saying it. So, pressure or no pressure, whoever you end up marrying, just make sure you have that love between you. So, in 2019 August, officially we got engaged, and our wedding is supposed to be in 2020, and then COVID happened. And then with COVID happening, everything else was on hold. His mom wanted to travel, for the levy and everything, but there were travel restrictions, so she couldn't really go anywhere to make to buy the levy stuff. And it's, as we know, a very necessary step in getting married in northern Nigeria. So again, people started talking. COVID, ko ba COVID ba, ko lefe ba aure bane. If I were your daughter, would you tell me to get married to somebody when the lefe has not been brought simply because the inevitable COVID happened, and then you just want me to jump into marriage? And then it was really, really, it made me understand that there are some people that don't even want what is best for you. See, working out, whether you're happy or you're not happy, they don't even care. They don't even want to know. And the fact that the fact that you're unmarried doesn't even bother them. It doesn't bother them at all. Kawai su damuwansu to poke nose. Sometimes they forget about your existence because ba su suke ciyar da ke ba su suke shayar da ke ba. They totally forget about your existence. They just want to bully you into getting married. Now, as I told you, there were times there were people in our immediate community that got married, especially women in our age bracket. They got married and were still at home, and we were unmarried, and it was a really difficult phase for us. It was a really difficult moment for us. And then, astaghfirullah, one person came back home, she was divorced. And then my cousin and I gossiped about it that, do you know this person is divorced? She came back with a child. And following back to the story, it was that she was forced into marriage because she didn't want to be left to be made an example with, like they were making examples with us. My cousin and I went through so much, just being made examples of, just people looking at us and feeling like there was no hope for us anymore. So it was really difficult for us to navigate that part of our life. It was really difficult for us, to go through that part of our life. And friends too, some friends who cut you off simply because they were married and you were not. They were having kids and you were still unmarried, or with the fear of har ta zo min gida ma mijina idan ta yace yana santa. There is nothing that hurts like that. And you're looking at mijin ma wannan ma me zan ma yi da shi, like ko maza sun kare, will I even marry this man? And there she is thinking in kika zo gidanta ya ganki, you might fall in love with him and try to snatch him. And my dear, you're the only person that is seeing what you're seeing in that man. Not every woman is seeing what you are seeing. Like my husband now, akwai matar da ko kyauta aka bata she will not collect. But for me, he is everything. For me, he's my world, he's the spec, he's this, is that. Wata bai ma ishe ta kallo ba. So this is me telling all those married women. It's not every woman that wants to snatch your husband. It's not every woman that even rates your man as a man. To some women, ko mazan duniya sun kare wannan namijin naki bai ishe su kallo ba. So we need to do better. And for you to judge another woman simply because she is unmarried, ensure kin yi shekara 100 a gidan miji, kuma ensure dangin ku kab babu mata. Idan dangin ku kab babu mata, duka matan dangin ku sun yi aure sun kare, kuma babu wacce ta fito zawarci, then you can judge a woman for being unmarried or for being a divorcee. Babu wacce ta isa ta tsallake kaddarar rashin aure ko kaddarar mutuwar aure. There is nobody. Now, I'm not saying my marriage has been a bed of roses from the time I got married up till today. I got married in 2021. This is 2025. I have been married for 4 years, alhamdulillah. And as I keep saying it, there are choices that I made that I regret, and there are choices that I made that if I could go back in time, I'll make them all over again. And me choosing the kind of husband that I did is one of the things that if I could go back in time, I would do them again.